To companies who are looking for new ideas. We have more than 9,000 companies who have agreed to review ideas in confidence. If a company shows interest in manufacturing your invention, we can negotiate on your behalf. We have helped over 10,000 clients receive patents. We also offer services including 3D modeling and animation demonstrating your idea, prototyping services, and we use state-of-the-art technology to show InventHelp client ideas to additional companies. Join the thousands of people just like you who chose InventHelp to pursue their idea. We are experienced. We are working for you. We are InventHelp.
Call us for free information at 1-800-460-1663. That's 1-800-460-1663. Again, 1-800-460-1663.
Minnesota Senator Amy Klobuchar is suspending her presidential campaign one day before Super Tuesday. She's expected to endorse former Vice President Joe Biden on Tuesday. Matt Gorman is a campaign strategist. He tells Fox News this move by Klobuchar may have been a very strategic one.
I think on the whole, it's pretty strategic and smart. She obviously wanted to win Minnesota, but she's showing her loyalty to Joe Biden, hoping that when the time comes, maybe he'll return the favor, maybe as VP. And notable, if you remember, her and Mayor Pete did not get along at all. She's cutting the line in front of Mayor Pete, who I think we all can see that him endorsing Biden very, very soon. Again, hoping that when the time comes, she was there for Biden while Mayor Pete dawdled.
Apple could be paying out over $500 million to settle a lawsuit regarding slow iPhones. Apple denies it did anything wrong, but the lawsuit alleges they slowed down their old iPhones in order to get people to buy new ones. You're listening to USA Radio News.
Now you can fly anywhere in the world and pay discount prices on your airline tickets. Book a flight today to London, Paris, Madrid, or anywhere else you want to go and pay a lot less guaranteed. Call the International Travel Department right now at Low Cost Airlines.
800-215-5141. 800-215-5141. That's 800-215-5141.
Going a little bit more in depth on the coronavirus as it has swept around the world, sickening and killing thousands. Many people are wondering if Democrats are playing politics with the virus in hopes of scoring some political points, including President Trump's son, Don Jr., who tells Fox News,
"We've seen this play out for 4 years. Anything that they can use to try to hurt Trump, they will. Anything he does in a positive sense, like you heard from the reporter that was just suspended from ABC, they will not give him credit for. The playbook is old at this point, but for them to try to take a pandemic and seemingly hope that it comes here and kills millions of people so that they could end Donald Trump's streak of winning is a new level of sickness. You know, I don't know if this is coronavirus or Trump derangement syndrome, but these people are infected badly. To run that in the New York Times, this isn't Vox. This isn't one of these, crazy left-wing journalists. This is the New York Times writing this with seriousness. It's truly sick. Now, those same Democrats last week, when my father shut down travel to and from China, were saying, it's an overreaction. It's a disaster. You're being xenophobic. Now they're flipping that. I mean, they can have it both ways because no one in the media will actually cover themselves honestly. And that's what's going on. And I think the American people have seen it for what it is. And it's an absolute travesty.
For USA Radio News, I'm Tim Berg.
The following is an America Matters media production. The views expressed do not necessarily represent those of the station or its advertisers, although we think they should. But that's the opinion of America Matters Media.
Stories we've told, stories we've told, it's every end of time. Stories we've told, stories we've told, till the end of time.
Oh, welcome to What's the Story? My name is Janice Hermson, and we've been here since noon. Well, actually, I've been here since 10 in the morning, so, I know you guys didn't get here till later. You're lightweights.
I was going to say I crawled in about 1.
I know, you were really late. We had an event here today between noon and 2 with a whole bunch of authors, including Doug Ashby and April Kempler, and they both had their books, and we had a number of others. We had a total of, I think, 9 authors.
Yeah,
8 or 9.
And we were all on TV.
Yeah.
So I hear.
Yeah. Yeah, that's going to air tomorrow, I guess.
Wonderful.
Yes. So you'll be in TV in California, so you can tell anybody in California. Christian, I'm sure, would be happy to share those stations with you.
Roll off all the stations during the.
He did. Yeah. So.
Helps when I have the list in front of me.
Yeah, I know. I know. It
so
sounded very impressive, though.
Almost makes you want to be an author.
Yeah, almost.
There were quite a few of them here. It was very interesting.
It was fun.
It was fun. We didn't have a huge crowd, but on a Monday afternoon from noon to 2, that's pretty good to have a crowd at all.
Really interesting, wide variety of folks.
Yes.
Right of the 9 authors. If you go, their full spectrum, they're unique folks.
Yeah. We had cowboys and Holocaust survivors. And
where do you find that?
Religious people and recipes.
Recipes,
And I don't know what else.
Yeah.
Children,
I don't overqualified.
Grandpa and Enzo.
I don't know who I was standing next to, but they two ladies, and they were swapping recipes back and forth.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I know.
I can't imagine.
I know my CRM sent out 14 recipes, right? In mortgage, we used to do it all the time. And for the longest time, I had one gal open one, right? 1 out of 14 for like a year.
Yeah.
0. 0 for 14. Recipes aren't really smoking hot in the real estate section.
You would think so, because
I was going to say they
sell houses, don't they? Bake cookies or bread?
No, they put vanilla. I was a realtor for a while.
Okay.
You put vanilla in the oven and you turn it on, and it makes it smell like you're baking
than
cookies. Yeah, that was one of the first lessons I learned. Century 21 training. That's me.
So it depends.
Is Century 21 still around?
No, yeah.
Yep, they are.
Yeah.
There's a Century 21 minor realty.
It's put vanilla in the oven.
Yeah.
I was putting cookie crumbs on the floor.
You were attracting the
wrong Doug.
So it just depends on the smell of the carpet. Right, right. If you got that smell of the carpet, you might want some kind of bomb thing going off, right? Versus the vanilla in the oven.
I know some houses I'd like to bomb.
Yeah. So right.
So my teaser today was fear or knowledge in so many books. So this is the so many books part.
Okay.
But fear and anxiety have been really popular topics in the news with elections, viruses, and so many other things. The stock market. Yeah, there's different reasons for fear and anxiety. And so today we're going to chat a little bit about kind of the psychology of that. I got a great article from someone that from Psychology Today that kind of gives you some insight into reasons for all of those things, which most of the time we know, but sometimes we don't. But the main thing that I really wanted to address is, how do you manage that? What do you do about it? Rather than just saying, oh yeah, we all have fear and anxiety and here are the reasons why.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Now what?
So I think it's an awesome subject. But for me, right, if it's an out of something I can't control, no anxiety, no fear.
That's you.
That's me.
Right.
Now that's me.
I don't think that's typical.
But what I'm saying
is that you?
No.
And it's not me. When I know logically, I can't control this. What can I possibly do about it? But I still feel hyped up and just wound up.
So you have
over it.
anxiety. Yeah.
Definitely.
Fear is time sensitive, because what you fear today, you didn't fear when you were 16 or when you were 30 or whatever. It belongs in a segment of time that you've been on the planet. Because I know when I was in high school and in college, a young male's fear was going to Vietnam. Well, kids today don't have that fear. They don't even think about it. So it is a time-sensitive issue, what scares you.
Yeah, well, even talking about the event that we had today, there was a time in my life when having to do something like this and be the person that kind of is in charge, that would have created like huge fear. It would have been hard for me to talk.
Yeah.
Can you believe that?
Yeah, but to me, there's just so many things down that rabbit hole. I mean, if you go like that, just like, right, you can have fear of being drafted, but there's nothing you can do about it. So to me, I've told myself, don't worry about it, right? You can't do anything about it.
But that's not.
That's my coping mechanism, and that's how
You're
I
a
survive.
rare breed.
Yeah, no,
I wish I was like you.
I think fear and
Be careful what
anxiety
you
are
ask
two different
for.
issues.
Good points.
Yes, that's
Well,
what I
right,
mentioned.
but I mean,
What you fear might not necessarily bring anxiety to you. I fear scorpions and rattlesnakes, But you know what? I don't have any anxiety about it.
No, I don't
So-
either.
So, unless I found one.
Unless I saw one.
Found one in
chasing
my boot.
me or something.
Yeah. So,
In your boots. Exactly. Unless it's like confronting you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how do you cope with your fear in general, though?
You know, that's interesting. I've never really ever thought about that because I don't know how many things really scare me.
Oh, look! Now we really have to challenge him, right?
I can find.
I
lot
don't
of
know
things
how
that
many
scare
things
you.
really scare me.
Yeah. How about devil work?
I try to get myself out of just thinking about myself. I try and focus on someone else. This is a real effort on my part. Don't think it's easy, but I try to do something for someone or do something that comforts me. So that's how I cope. I mean, I could drink or shop. I shop too much already, so that's bad. That's shopping therapy, right?
I do think, though, it is highly personal, right? Like
Right.
your anxiety, you might barbecue steaks in the backyard to feel better, right? Somebody else
yes.
might
Cooking
have
is an anxiety
have a
release
cigarette,
for me.
right? Someone else might have a drink. Someone else
Yeah.
might go for a walk, right? It's highly personal. However, we've evolved individually to deal with our
Right.
stuff.
To concentrate on something else is helpful.
All right. Well, we're going to talk about the fear of the fear,
Oh,
the fear of the fear, and what to do about it. All right. So you're listening to What's the Story, and we got stories. We're going to be right back.
I used to fear coming here.
Did you?
Well, now it's easy. Well, it's sort of easy.
Yeah, but,
So
well,
if
you
I
know,
said to you on Monday, you're going to run the show.
That would be a new fear. Yeah. Oh, okay. How did she do it? How did she think of all these interesting questions for people?
But look at that. So you go over old shows and then you do it,
Yeah,
right? And then you
research.
go, what a stupid fear that was, right? It's just fear because you haven't done it before. Those things you got to try to kick
So
to the
But I don't
curb.
think so.
It's
I don't
linked
think so.
To
because
preparedness, I think.
because of the fact that as far as public speaking goes, it took me a really long time. I mean, this show helped me to be able to do public speaking, but prior to that, I could do a thing and do some public speaking, but I was never very comfortable with it, never very good at
But
it.
if you ask-
I still don't know if I'd be any good at it, but I at least have a.
If you ask
I'll
Brian,
pretend,
though,
right?
Well, you launched yourself into that uncomfortable zone. And I agree with you in a way. Not that I noticed anything with you, but with me personally, I just, public speaking for the book. I spoke at libraries and school. Oh, the worst was the schools because I used to be afraid of kids when I was a kid, and now I have to talk to them.
but Brian and
so-
Billy Joe still have
Bobby Joe.
or Bobby Joe, sorry, but have
good thing we all do that, huh?
have anxiety, right? Have likely butterflies, right? That's part of enhanced performance. We get that too. Do we distinguish it differently than they do? Right? They still get it when they go on the show, just like we get it when we go on live radio. Right? There's an energy and anxiety about. I mean, Brian's got it every time he goes on. Bobby Joe has it every time he goes on.
Yeah.
Performers have it.
Yeah.
And so for us to have it, it's an
normal.
energy. Right. It's normal.
I think it's normal. So you need to differentiate between what's not normal anxiety and what is
Right.
within those acceptable margins.
Well, I think
You know-
people perform better when it's regular anxiety. They
Yeah.
don't perform better under pressure.
But we need a
It's-
little bit of that to make us be better.
It's interesting that Janice would say something about public speaking because, they poll people all the time. Most people fear public speaking way ahead of death. That's how afraid of public speaking they are.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, no, really.
I would agree with
But,
that.
you know,
What
it's-
percentage? I just played a
it's-
crazy game the other day. We had to
To
figure out
me, I know
percentages.
with the fire department, you
Yeah,
had-
I don't fear death, really.
I don't really either.
No,
I mean,
because
it's not
it's
looking
like
me in
an
the
unknown.
face. Yeah.
And so I think if I knew how I was going to die, I might be fearful.
Yeah.
You know, if somebody said to you, "You're gonna," and I'd be like, "Oh gosh!" Every time I face that, now I'm gonna wonder if that's the time.
Right.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, you go, well, that's
You're going to go in a sailboat in the
Exactly.
Lake Erie or
Yep.
something.
You know,
Yeah, so like you go to a psychic and the psychic says, "Ooh," you know, you're like, "Oh no!"
that's why
now
I
have
won't go to one because they're so general. But with the fire department, you had
We're getting ready to come back on, you know.
You have a good timing for that.
You do. He doesn't hear the music and think about it. He just keeps going.
I didn't hear the
His,
music.
his prompts.
Oh.
How come?
Here we go.
Oh.
And that's my cue. Back to the show. So here we are. We're back to the show. We've been talking even while we were off air.
The show just kept going through commercial
I was gonna
breaks.
say,
So sorry.
It did. Yeah, we just kept going talking about fear.
Kinds falls under the category. You can't shut us up.
So if we sound like we are beyond you, sorry. That's all I can say right now is sorry.
Go back.
Well, we didn't discuss the article, though, that I had found in Psychology Today. And so I did want to address that because I always like to at least start with referencing somebody that's got the knowledge, right?
Yeah.
And that was part of my tease is, you know, fear, knowledge, you know, I think that a lot of times our fears are very much squelched by knowledge. They help because, you know, you learn, especially when they've been talking about the coronavirus. And I know, April, I didn't do that in my teaser, but I did online. You're going to talk about some things that you and Paul discussed in how to greet people and, you know, in light of the...
Just what we're doing.
Right, exactly. Yeah, not to tell people what to do.
What to do,
just-
but what
no.
we've decided.
Suggestions.
Yeah, what we've decided to do.
So one of the things that this particular article references, and this is by Greg Henriques, PhD, and it's on, like I said, Psychology Today. He says, anxiety is a close cousin of fear, where fear is more emotionally raw and stimulus-bound. We fear the dark, flying, public speaking. Anxiety is more cognitive, so it's like worrying, future-oriented. We can feel anxious but not really be sure about what. So they go together because of their root evolutionary function. Both fear and anxiety are about identifying threats and avoiding them. So, you know, and that's what we've been talking about, the things like public speaking and, I don't know, being on the air, right?
Yeah.
They are all things that are doing an event and that unknown. So it's generally about that unknown.
So you guys, when I was a kid and young, and I had anxiety, and I let anxiety stop me from doing things I wanted to do, right? Whether it was hang out with kids, ask a girl out, right? Whatever it was in the way. And this is where I got to where I am now. I said, see ya. This is intolerable. I couldn't take it in my life personally, and I said, no more.
Yeah.
And that's
I agree.
you
There
get
comes-
what you got
there
now.
comes
That's what I am.
Oh, so this is
So you fall
formation of it.
into, yeah, well, he falls into, actually, and I'm glad I hadn't said anything about this yet. You fall into where this guy suggests that you go. He says, so many folks can unlearn their negative reactions to their feelings and learn to become more curious, accepting, loving, and motivated. Well, what does that spell? Calm. That is a great acronym, right? So that's...
Yeah, but cops make you anxious.
Yeah, but they're not in this conversation.
No. So that's, you know, if you battle with stress or negative emotions, you might benefit from working instead to develop a calm MO, right? So instead of going out there and just looking at, I think one of the things that I've learned in life is you have to sometimes just take a totally different approach to something that, you know, continuously hasn't been working. You just have to say, forget it. I'm not going to keep trying. I'm just going to move around it or go backward or do
that's
something
when we
different.
do
right?
something crazy
Yeah.
because it doesn't matter. What we're doing's not working.
Exactly. Yeah. So if you've been beating your head against the wall to do this for so long and it doesn't work, well, don't do that anymore and move on. Right? I mean, it's the easiest thing in the world to say, but the hardest thing to do, right? Because it's going to be that next time that it's going to work. right?
You know,
I'm pounding that nail. If I pound one more time, it's going to go all the way in.
I think Grandpa on Hee Haw said that once.
you know, the one thing that I don't understand about that argument is you're assuming that you can identify the thing that makes you anxious or that you are afraid of.
Well, that's what this psychologist gets paid
Yeah.
to help you do, right?
I think
the root.
I think that's very difficult. I think any kid under the age of 18 is going to be anxious about how they present themselves, most commonly to the opposite sex.
But what's wrong with that? That's their space.
I think that's awesome. But if it makes you anxious, you need to identify that, and then how do you make yourself not anxious?
So I'm going to disagree.
Well, the first thing would be, and he's saying it, curious. So you have to allow yourself to be curious. Curious about why do I feel this way? Curious about what would happen if I didn't feel this way? Because sometimes we hold on to those things just because they're comfortable, even if they're bad and they make you feel horrible. It's a comfortable space to be in, right?
Well,
would you agree? Disagree?
Yes, it is. And where I was going with Doug is one of the things we have challenges with on schools is
he's going to go to the schools.
Well, if you go from birth to age 18, kids need grief. They need adversity, right? We baby them so they have no adversity, no challenges. And guess what? Then we cry at 18 why they can't deal with them. It's because they haven't had any. We protect them way too much.
No, I think that's oversimplification. I'll tell you why. Because as soon as they walk out that door, they are hit smack in the face with peer pressure.
Exactly.
Everybody is.
But everybody has peer pressure.
Right, and we have it now.
And I might add, from a male's perspective, they have testosterone. And that drives an 18-year-old.
So do you and I, and so did we, and that's no excuse. That's no excuse for not having a clue.
So okay,
that's it.
Getting back to your acronym.
Thank you. Calm. Let's be calm, boys.
Calm. Go curious or something.
Oh, I can't call you boys, can
Picture.
What? Maybe it's
Picture a
an
palm
esteem
tree.
issue. Maybe if you did some personal investing in yourself so that you felt more confident approaching the girl, then that would help alleviate some anxiety. Maybe it wouldn't take away all the anxiety, but we all have anxiety.
She's counseling you.
I think
It's good. I need it, man. This is free. I'm liking it.
You know
take
what?
a little time with your person and have developed the confidence. And look, also, if there's someone that you admire of the same sex that you're like, wow, I want to be like that. Be like that person. Do what they do, and it will work for you.
And I agree with you. Confidence makes all of it go away.
Oh, absolutely.
All of it.
Yeah.
All of it.
Confidence
Exactly.
breeds confidence. Yeah.
And so all you got to do is
You're
have
like,
a clue.
well, it's not
but
me.
What do
it's
you
you.
do? What do you do when you go up to that girl you've seen her all semester and you say, I'm going to go talk to her? And you finally you see the opportunity and you walk up to her and you say, blah, blah, blah.
But what's going to happen if you
comes
talk
out
to her?
right.
She'll smile and say hi, and then you just walk away.
No, I'm usually breathing so hard because if they see me coming, they run. So I got to sneak up, right? You got to crawl by the walls, and then you get up there close, and then you go, blah, blah, blah.
All right, so let's go back to the acronym. So you got your curiosity, and then you have accepting. So you have to accept a number of things, right? I mean, you have to accept that you are.
You look like Quasimodo.
Well,
We have limits,
yeah,
right?
there are
We have limits.
You
We
can
are
only do
who we
so
are.
much with what you have.
Right.
That's true. So then the L is, what did I say?
Limits?
No. Why would you limit?
I think it's
That's
loving or
silly.
something.
Loving, yes.
Loving,
I
yeah.
A
don't
loving
remember.
attitude.
Likability.
So I think that's a tough
Lust.
one. No, only a man.
Lust? Oh, yeah.
No, love is very hard.
I think it's hard to think that way in general terms. A loving attitude, especially I think coming from
Without
a
being
man.
too hippy-dippy, right?
Right. I mean,
But
if you think about a loving attitude, do you relate to that?
No.
A woman is kind of easy.
So,
right?
but as a fact, it's hard for me, but it's
Right.
something as I grow in balance that I'm looking for now, right?
But
Where
if
I'm
I
going.
said to John, I'm trying to picture him, whether or not my husband, whether he would like embrace that at all. If you look at me and go, yeah, right.
Well, loving would be being kind.
Right, but I guess he had to use the L, right?
Yeah, so it would be having empathy or compassion or putting yourself in the other person's position.
Right, and then you have to be motivated to do something about it.
Okay.
And I think that part's tough.
So it's same as business, right? What do we value? If we value that,
Right.
we do it, right?
Right,
If we
but
value,
if you're in the mode of fear and anxiety, how easy is it
But
to
does
get
that make you feel weaker, to
curious,
love, to feel like
accepting?
you're
no,
loving someone?
makes you feel stronger.
Okay, good.
I think when you're
Because
decisive
in
and
business, if you're
opinionated,
too kind, is that perceived as weak?
I think it can be, but only by people that play checkers. People that play chess understand that you don't need to be a broadcaster and that you got confidence. The world will come around to you.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to post this article because he goes into so many different examples and things, and they're very good. We can't obviously cover them all here, but I think it was interesting to hear your guys' reaction to that acronym and the fact that you just totally blew it off. Said, no way, that's not going to work.
I think it's
I would have
interesting.
expected that from you more than from him. So it shows you what I know.
I was wearing a different hat.
Okay, that's all right. You're allowed. You may do that. It's just fine. So that was my. And so, as it applies to the coronavirus, I guess I would just say you need to identify why you have that fear, right? I mean, especially if nobody around you is in that state. If somebody's in that state, absolutely, I can understand your fear.
Exactly.
But if not, not to jump the gun. I think we all need to be aware. But I think that unfortunately the media has gone a little bit crazy with it, and it's lots of clicks. And they need to stop. And so I'm not trying to do that. I don't want to do that. What I want to do is say, hey, manage your fears. Don't, and try the calm approach. It's a good one, and I'll post the article, and hopefully it'll help somebody. It's all we care about, right?
That's right.
Didn't help Doug, but it might help
say
someone.
I've already been helped.
Oh, awesome. See, I helped one. All right, we're going to be right back. This is What's the Story. Oh, it's funny.
It's an interesting space, but until like, Biden like goes potty outside back of the building, right? There's not enough news to get off the coronavirus.
I just think it's crazy that they're even going through all of this.
It is the most hilarious thing. I am having so much fun with the Democrats. Their whole policy. It is so you can watch it. When they did their debates, it was the total Hail Mary. It was just like us talking to a big player, a big investor, and we were giving it our last oomph. And obviously some of them weren't good enough. But just like watching golfers at the PGA handle the most difficult courses, watching those people and their candidates sift through that, it's the same competition. It's funny.
Yeah.
I see it that way, and, some are qualified and some aren't. It's really interesting how it's shaping out.
But you knew it would by this time. It had to.
Yeah, it's just no expectations, having fun watching it.
Well, they say that, any news item has a 7-day life to it. So we're at the end of the 7 days, so maybe we can switch to something else. I was talking to my son this morning from down Orange County Fire, and he says they're going crazy now with the virus, supposedly.
Right. Well, Californians, they all got it. Just ask them.
Yeah. That's right.
Right. They're just so fearful of everything. To me, that's why one of the reasons why all their laws are all protective.
They're feel-good stuff.
Right. It's all protecting what they got.
Yeah.
Where our laws are all personal responsibility, mostly.
Yeah.
Right. I don't like the overflow
Yeah.
because it takes away from personal responsibility, which I think is at the core of all good people.
I think you're right. I think it's the core of making a responsible society.
Doug's on this camera. Whatever Doug wears, the colors don't translate exact.
They don't at all.
Right? Never
No.
do.
Well,
Never
look at
do.
hers. Look at how bright her blue is.
Yep.
That looks like a light blue instead of.
And you and I are wearing uniforms.
Yeah. As
so we're
always.
working on getting studio lighting, so big LED panels. That
Oh, good.
Well, so
Oh, great.
So we
Airbrush
need
all
makeup.
the flaws.
I need makeup now. Are you kidding?
I'm not there yet, but I'm close.
I don't wear it. I just said I need it.
Stand by, but we have the Bookhound Blitz song as well.
Thank you. He's so good to us.
Yes.
Because he knows I'm
Seems
always.
to me that my hair looks really dark in here.
It does. It does. It looks extra dark.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
and I'll say even mine looks not gray actually on here.
You're right. It does. I don't even notice it
Yeah.
really.
What color is Doug's hair?
And mine doesn't either.
Well, yours is. I mean, it just makes everybody's dark
Yeah.
It
except
was a
Doug's.
joke.
Yeah, I know.
That's a filter we put on there for you, Ed.
Yeah. Non-gray.
That's right. My non-gray comes in a bottle. But I like it. Proud of it.
Okay.
Ah, yes, the dancer. The other dancer.
10 seconds. 5.
This side of the room,
4,
not so much.
3, 2.
Hey, welcome back. It is time for the Book Blitz. Are you folks all ready to blitz this book? Or a book?
Yeah.
Some books?
Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. Oh, you're so excited. I think they're all tired from
We
the
are
event.
tired from the book blitz.
Yeah,
Of
book blast.
The book
Yeah.
blast.
We used to
We've
have
blasted it,
yeah.
and now we're blitzing it.
We used to have book blasts at LeRue, and we stopped doing the book blasts because we didn't get a lot of
foot traffic.
Yeah, and we didn't get a lot of feedback, and so we thought, that's silly. We shouldn't keep doing that. So then today, when we went on air with Eddie, he's calling it the book blast, and I thought, well, that's good. That part stuck. That was good.
Yeah. And it was a
That's
bit
something
of,
that stuck.
It was a blast.
It
Some of
was.
it was a blast from the past.
The first one we did was so good, but that was all about timing, and I tried to recreate it, but unfortunately things happen. You know how things happen in the event space.
Yeah.
That did not allow me to recreate that because I knew what the formula was. That wouldn't be allowed.
Wait, just a second. You said, do we know what happens when you allow certain things in a time space?
I don't understand.
I know.
April, I'm out of it totally. Today you guys have gone over my head more than once, more than twice. Right? I better pick up my game.
It's like a tsunami just hit. I don't understand what you mean.
Yeah. Well, no,
Yeah.
I mean,
You know what? I have great anxiety over that.
a fear of it?
Yeah.
It's causing a lot of confusion and fear.
Yeah. Yeah.
He just keeps saying
Yeah. He's not going to
So
explain it.
that's a good question. Does confusion cause you fear?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, I don't have that one.
Oh, I don't either.
Well, that's a good question. Yeah.
Hold it. Can we read Doug's transcript from the last
Well,
5 minutes? Hold it.
I have a fear.
Yes.
Let's rewind this.
Okay,
Yes.
so for me personally, I have a fear of not understanding something. So
Fear of what?
Not understanding something or the direction. Like even if
Oh,
you call,
gosh, I spend my life there.
you call a call center, you need help trying to figure out a problem with your computer or a problem with your appliance. Am I going to understand the answer? And so it kind of freaks me out that I
You
may
don't-
not understand.
Do you do crossword puzzles? That
Maybe
would-
I should.
So hold
She
on.
doesn't want to answer that question.
Is that
I'm not answering that question.
Is that understanding because you can't understand the language or understand the technology?
Yes, both.
Yes.
That is. Where'd you get these yes folks? Right there. Right there. Did they say anything else?
I told you at the beginning, didn't we say this was a confusing show? So
Yes.
I don't know that it's a language.
Well done. Good
Yes.
opportunity.
Yeah.
Yes, I don't know that it's a language issue if they're speaking my language. I used to have comprehension skills, but I feel like maybe my comprehension is like
Yeah, that ebbs
Not
and
so
flows.
much, huh?
That ebbs and flows. When it does, just go like this. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to hire someone who will understand.
So, how many ways can we say yes?
I don't know.
Right,
I think it's time to do the book blitz.
Yeah.
C.
See.
So go ahead.
Well, I will jump
You had
in.
your book out.
So
oh, look at this.
So
can't
I
believe he's doing
love Perry Mason, right, and
Yeah.
in murder mysteries in general. And I was by Jan's office, and I was looking for a book, and Lenore helped me find this Dorothy Gilman book, The Unexpected Mrs. Pulifax, and it's about an older gal, right? So people need to keep living their lives, right? This older gal's got kids that are older. She's on her own. And what's she want to do? She wants to be a spy, right? So she goes to the CIA.
That's what I want to be when I grow up.
Yeah,
too.
me too. I think it'd be awesome, wouldn't it? So
Sounds
she
like
goes
you've
to
already
this.
tried it in your youth with girls.
I know, well, that needs explanation.
That had to do with the gymnasium, though. But never mind that.
The answer is yes. Right? The answer is yes.
I see.
So the Unexpected Mrs. Pulifax is hilarious and really worth reading, and I think really a pleasant journey. It gives me a little balance, gets me away for the half hour or hour I read a day of this, and it's a rock star book. Please read it. Dorothy Gilman, The Unexpected Mrs. Pulifax.
And we had a ton of them
I
at
love 'em.
LeRue.
I love
and
'em.
we just got in, oh my goodness, 3,000 to 5,000 more books. And so
You're
who
swimming
knows
in
how many
books.
we have?
Swimming
Yes,
in
we
books.
are. Yes, hard to walk.
Yep.
So there you go. All right, Medea.
Okay, I'll go. So this is a book that's actually kind of different for me, and it's a little bit.
It's not World War II?
No, but it is history. I have to pull it up again. Excuse me. Okay.
Should we move on and go to someone else?
Is the name some
I have
version
enough.
of yes?
This is by Daniel Immerwahr. It's How to Hide an Empire, a history of the greater United States. So there's been books about the maps that outline the 50 states and the idea of the United States as an empire exercising power around the world. But what about the actual territories, the islands, atolls, and archipelagos this country has governed and inhabited? And How to Hide an Empire, Daniel Immerwahr tells the fascinating story of the United States outside the United States. In crackling, fast-paced prose, he reveals forgotten episodes that cast American history in a new light. And it goes on to say about talking about what the United States did historically in other countries, and brings it to light. And so it's a fascinating book. It's rather big. They caution you that it's a big download. If you're going to download it, that takes extra time to download. But it's a big book of United States history and the things you may not know about it. And I like it. I think it sounds kind of controversial. It's different for me. How to Hide an Empire.
Was it published in Spokane?
No. Why?
Well, it's just saying there's all kinds of right views of the United States and fundamentalist views, and there's a whole underbelly of that.
Yeah, there's just a lot of it came out February 19th, 2019. And it's just sort of it's a history and about the United States, little things you may not know.
Nice.
Very
Good.
nice.
Good.
We'll see.
Yeah.
I think you.
It's your turn.
Hold it. You can't say good. You
Yes,
can't say
you have
good.
to
You
say
can only
yes.
say yes.
Yes. Yeah.
You're up.
Okay. Well, this is kind of an extension of what we did today, and I try to go on the internet in the morning, before a show, whatever what the topic is, and see if there's something that's maybe of an extension of what we've been doing. And I think this one fits really pretty well. It does in my life because we're trying to revamp Heroes and Giants and bring it out for a second landing, to see how we can do and improve it. So this is Writing for Bliss. What could be better than that, right? And it says a 7-step plan for telling your story and transforming your life. Wow, what a tagline, huh? I already wrote my story, and I don't know how it transformed me.
Well, here you are on the radio with us.
That's right. Yeah,
So I suggest if you wrote your story today, it might be different.
It could be. Could very well be. Yeah, because I'm older and wiser, right?
Of course.
Yeah, my style's a little bit better. Writing for Bliss is the most fundamentally about reflections, truth, and freedom, with techniques and prompts for both the seasoned and novice writer. It will lead you to tap into your creative thought, storytelling, and this is the part I don't really like, and poetry. Examine how life-changing experiences can inspire writing, pursue self-examination and self-discovery through the written word, and understand how published writers have been transformed by writing. So, I don't know why they threw poetry in there. I don't know too many people that branch out from maybe a story about themselves and say, yeah, I have a poetry that reminds me of that.
So you really want a succinct thing, right? So take your book, right?
Yeah.
And go, okay, I'm going to write a 50-word poem that's going to describe that whole book.
That's beyond me.
Well, I'm just saying that is a challenge beyond many people. But what I'm saying is the attempt likely will make your book better.
No, I have a fear of that.
What, your book being better?
Maybe.
If
I started,
do you have a fear of poetry or your
no,
book?
I think it's the poetry.
Yeah.
If I started spouting,
well, you say poetry, it brings these visions of, I don't know, it depends on the person what vision it brings, but it's always a vision of, oh, I can't do that. Right?
Oh,
I can't
absolutely.
do that. It's either that you can't be that succinct, which I think would be a trouble for you.
There's a rhythm. There's a
rhythm. There's,
Sure.
I mean, there's rules, right?
Yeah.
There's
There
rules.
are rules.
yeah, that frightens me
are.
too.
Yeah.
Rules. Ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So all those things.
No, if I did
There's things called
segment,
strophes.
you would
Right,
think
that's a
I was
paragraph. I was like,
you'd
what's
think
a
I was a
strophe?
sissy.
Oh, see, there was
What's a
more
sissy?
to it than that.
This goes back to your childhood. Did you need dating advice too?
That was when
April's on deck.
the older boys didn't understand me.
So, Sigmund Freud gets a lot of grief, but he was spot on, wasn't he?
It would show maybe you're sensitive and that's weakness.
Show my sensitive side, yeah.
Well, that's what I was thinking about the loving thing,
Yeah,
Back
I
to
know.
that.
I know. It's
The
a tough
L
one.
word.
Sensitivity
Yeah.
just
Likeable.
that L word,
depicted as weak. I don't
Loving.
know.
Yeah, that was good set there, guys. You did great. I had a book, but I will save it for next time. That's all right. I like to have you guys do your thing. All right, we're going to be back with Reno Gal Says How to Stay Healthy in the Face of the Coronavirus.
Okay.
We'll be right back.
Good. That was good.
That was
was
well
fun.
done, you guys.
That was
It
fun.
was well done.
Sigmund Freud.
It's pretty funny.
Highly entertaining, it is. So I think it's hard, but I like the exercise. It's same with business, right? You write some big paper. If you can write down the words, right, and write it in a succinct space,
Yeah.
it can be recreatable.
Yeah.
That's something I will say Mark Boersma's done for me, is that succinct writing and reading, not being too wordy.
That's one of the things Ben Franklin said. He said that would have been a
You
lot.
find a lot of benefit from his interaction with you. I tried. I was not successful.
No, I get it. I totally get it.
I don't know why. I just wasn't.
So he doesn't think I get it either, but last week on Thursday, he went off. He had to go off air, and I led.
Does he ever listen? to our
So
show?
he called me back and said, "Hey, you did a great job on the show, right? Or on the call." I led it for half an hour.
Oh, good for
by
you.
myself. And
By
let-
myself.
Well, I wasn't prepared to do it, but I was the guide or question asker. He listened. It was recorded. He listened to it, and now he's trying to sell me coaching again, right? At the high end. He's like, "Oh, I see you're getting that." Right. Same old, same old. But it was fun. It was a good experience.
That's good. We are tired. We are. I am. I can feel it.
So the weather
Thinking about
and
even
the
sitting
time.
down.
Have you been standing the whole
Oh,
time?
I stand always.
That's good. That's
Yeah.
very
She-
healthy.
She doesn't look like she's standing
No,
there, does she?
well, I'm so short. I don't know. I feel like I'm sitting there
Because I kind of,
Well,
slouch a
obviously
little.
you're both short and below us. Just look right there, right? Look, I can throw stuff down at you.
I'm gonna stand. I think I'll think better.
think so?
And I'm taller.
Yeah.
You are taller. Yeah.
Does that mess up the camera?
I must not be very tall because you said I looked smaller.
No.
Like I was sitting.
You're taller than me.
Do you have
yeah.
better projection when you stand?
No.
Probably.
Yeah.
I would
probably do.
imagine
Yeah.
your diaphragm.
You're not all hunched inside, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I took voice lessons. I can give you all the.
I'm tired too.
I
had
never
a,
did.
I had a
I
very
did.
busy weekend.
I was a
Did you have
madrigal
busy
singer.
weekend?
I've had no
You know what
musical
madrigal
Did you have a
training.
busy weekend?
Magical.
Yeah, you know, I
Madrigal.
spent
Oh,
the entire
magical.
weekend
There
at
were
my
4 of
desk.
us in a
I had
group
to do
and we
my
did
taxes.
Oh,
acapella.
gosh.
Nice.
No
Yeah.
music.
I've
So I
always
took up and
It was fun.
I was trying to
I
always
finish
been
another
amazed because
story to put in
that's
my
something I
book.
can't do.
Yeah.
I had to do.
I was not.
story
I didn't
for
want to
her,
ever be
so,
a
yeah.
lead. That was not
But-
my
and
deal.
plus it
I
snows,
loved
so
the
it put me in.
harmonies.
Yeah.
and,
I hate being
that I
in the
thought was
house
fun.
all the time.
I had a bunch.
I felt like being in the choir.
Here we go.
I'm a team player.
What? Well, you look like a giant. Now. I don't. It's messing up the whole balance.
Yeah.
He's going to sit again now. You've intimidated him. Welcome back. We're trying out stand up, sit down. Isn't there like a little kids game that you
Yeah.
go stand up children, sit down children, stand up children,
Yeah.
sit down children?
I think we got game on with Doug being intimidated by April on that last statement.
Oh,
That's
man.
right. Yeah. How about that?
You know, can I say
It's a
one thing?
different day today.
One-
It's like the
thing- one-
elephant and the mouse.
Yeah. One thing, just real short. Today is my youngest boy's birthday.
Oh, happy birthday, youngest
Yeah,
boy.
he's born on today, no, March 2nd. He's 46. Now, that's only, you have to put a comma there. And he's on an airplane right now flying to Italy.
Oh,
Nice.
So this is causing some anxiety
It
for
is.
you.
Not fear, but anxiety. Absolutely.
Likely he's got the whole country to himself, right? Everyone's afraid.
Yeah.
Likely with no standing.
It would be a good time to travel.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because things are.
It's
very
been,
cheap,
well,
probably.
for the
well,
past.
that's a great segue to April's
It is, yeah.
segment.
How'd I do?
Pretty good. Thank you.
They really didn't set that up.
I was going to say no planning allowed on this show.
No.
Come on, you guys can't be
Kind of
organized.
spoils it, doesn't
They
it?
always put their heads together.
This was
you know.
on my mind last week, way before the stock market crash and the whole pandemic, everything. I had talked to Jan about this because I have a lot of friends that are going to Asia, coming back from Asia, and so it instigated a lot of conversation in my household about how we would prepare ourselves. So a lot of anxiety is because maybe you're not prepared enough.
Yeah, lack of knowledge.
Lack of knowledge.
Yep.
So what we had determined to do for us and that I would share with you was some of the things we were doing. So not rushing out buying masks. In fact, they're recommending healthy people do not need masks. This is for the healthcare providers. This is for sick
Right.
people. So you're just looking silly walking around with a mask, number one. So if you can't look cute, don't do it.
It could be people without makeup on.
That could be. I might be qualified for that.
Well, I just wear a baseball cap low.
Either that or a Joker smile.
Yeah, it could be. It could be. So what can you do? So prepare. Maybe you need some things in the house that you can sustain. Can you live in your home if you were quarantined for 2 weeks?
I did think about that, to be honest with you.
What
I
would
said,
what would
"Could
get you
I?"
through?
I thought, yeah, I could.
Yeah, we could. I probably have a month of food.
Oh, yeah, I have at
and,
least that.
and everything. There are other things to consider besides that, of course, which are. What if people can't get to the electric company because they're too sick and you have no power? Do you need a generator? These are some things to maybe think about. But that's kind of
extreme.
Extreme.
Yeah.
And probably not priority. What you would need would be water, bottled water. You would need dried goods like rice, beans, always good to have in the house. Cleaning things to keep things clean. So I bought a lot of cleaning supplies. I bought some extra water. People had wiped out the toilet paper at I don't know what the big deal is with
Seriously?
the toilet paper.
How come everybody's doing that?
But
Yeah, it's a cold in your nose, not in your.
well, paper goods. Well, I stocked up anyway. I was like, hey, why not? Let's do it. So I
Look
got
at
some
you,
paper
part
goods.
of the economic engine.
I'm helping.
They say buy it, I'll buy it.
I'm helping.
Yeah.
But you also, I heard on the news too something about medications. So there are pharmaceutical companies are putting a lot of maybe medicines that you take regularly. They're using those for the to help with antibiotics. So maybe you need to have a little extra medicine in the house. Make sure you have your medicine or that you need to take, and extra batteries and radio, back in the old days, radio, something like this, those walkie-talkie things too. That's, my husband and I
Those walkie-talkie things.
we actually prepare a lot for if we are evacuated. So do you have
I gotcha. Well, you've experienced that in your life.
Actually, several times.
I know.
Strangely enough. So I do have experience with this personally, and I do have designated clothing items, shoes, things, food to be prepared. And that does alleviate some of the anxiety. But
I was
okay,
gonna say,
so
anxiety.
what can you do? I actually found this really great article, and it says, the title of it is Fresh Air and Sunshine.
That's a
Natural
good one.
antibiotics. So throughout history, we've had plagues, we've had TB episodes, we've had the Civil War. Florence Nightingale had to help bacteria with the soldiers, and so these people found that things that were exposed to sunlight actually helped kill bacteria. And Florence Nightingale noticed that fresh air contributed to the overall health of a patient. Keeping things confined and closed in is not stuffy.
So
it's not a healthy environment for staying well. So, and then I had read once a long time ago that if you put something out in the sunlight for about 15 minutes, it's like a bleaching factor. So and things that are exposed to the air, bacteria can't live in it. And they did a study with bacteria and spider webs in a box, and they did it at night so that they could eliminate the sunlight factor. And ones that were exposed to the night air, the bacteria died within really fast. The ones that were in the box confined had survived throughout the night. And so we can do a lot that's natural. Now, I'm not saying one thing over another. I'm just saying that we do have sunlight, we have fresh air,
Well, I think that this is back to the idea that when you have knowledge, you have power, right?
Exactly.
And you have the ability to manage your own situation.
Yeah.
I think that the media just gets it so overblown that, here we are in Northern Nevada. Northern California has some cases, so we got to think that could come our way, but that doesn't mean you have to panic.
No.
It doesn't mean you have to get all flipped out.
and
My son will go. He'll be like, "Where would we relocate to?" I'm like,
where could you go? Nowhere.
"Nowhere.
No,
I'm staying
you
home.
have
I'm in the safest place
so you
there
need
is."
to stay at home. Eliminate your contact, have your supplies, be prepared for anything, and don't go crazy.
And be calm.
And
Curious, accepting,
and
loving, and motivated.
have extra. Maybe your neighbors need something. This would be loving.
I was going to say,
share.
Doug and I just may be calm, right? We may not be calm, right? We're just calm.
And I'm
Like
actually
machining, right? Machine type things.
And I'm actually proud to say that we developed a new handshake. Paul, we have a client who's a doctor, and it's the foot tap. So if someone wants to come shake your hand, you point to your foot and you tap your foot. Because what do people do? They sneeze in their arm or they sneeze somewhere. I remember when we had norovirus or H1N1 and the doctors couldn't wear ties anymore when visiting the patients because the ties had all the bacteria in it.
That's a likely story and a
They
reason
didn't
for
wanna.
them to get rid of ties.
Don't wear these. Just touch the toe. You don't have to, worry about germs. And
I hate the
handshakes.
dehumanizing, though, and I kind of like the
Well, we
hugging
have a
portion
video.
of
I will
stuff.
share it in the post with the link of the article. It's kind of cute. Do it if you want. Don't do it. I don't care. But it's, it's what I'm kind of doing, and it's funny. So
I took away from this, I have to wrap myself in cobwebs and kick someone, right?
No, you don't wrap yourself in cobwebs or anything. But,
Wow.
So there are preventative measures you can take. I had another thought, but I kind of forgot which
Kinda went
that
south?
was.
He threw you on that, huh?
He did throw me on that. So we
Yeah.
did develop the little toe tap. I talked about that. I don't know. Some people would say they debunk hand sanitizer. I use it. So far, I'm pretty good. So washing your hands, being clean is probably one of the best things you can do.
I think probably washing your hands is the best, right?
Oh, I know
Frequently.
this is like just a random thing, but they said that men with beards have more bacteria, have a more
Absolutely.
chance of catching these
Absolutely
flus
they
and
do.
viruses,
Yeah.
and you getting it from them. So I don't kiss men with beards. So
I do.
that's my rule.
I don't either. How about you?
I haven't lately. I was going to say I haven't lately.
But I did date a girl once.
Good heavens.
Oh, well, that's a totally different subject.
That's right.
Well, leave it to Doug.
I don't know. So how do you feel about the preparedness?
I like it. I like it. Yeah, I think that
At least 2 weeks. What can it hurt?
Yeah, I mean, and I think it's don't go to the store and wipe them out of everything.
Exactly.
That's the first
That's
thing.
not loving.
It's definitely not loving.
It's fear.
It is fear, and you
And,
don't need to have the fear.
I
Like
don't.
Chicken Little with
I
the
don't go
sky
to
is falling.
Costco because I don't have storage for 120 rolls of toilet paper, right?
You'd be surprised where I've stashed it all.
Well, I mean, I still buy it in like 12, and
Yeah,
it's a
I do
problem.
too. Yeah.
It's a problem. But Fox and I live in a ranch house. I buy as needed, right? I'm
Right.
Yeah.
kind of
I try to
anti-storing.
do that too until these little things come along.
Well,
and
what's
then
the
you have to-
difference? I could still be at home and survive, right? I mean, if you got clean
Yeah.
water, you could survive
Right,
for 2
right,
weeks.
and that's the thing. For
That's
2
true.
weeks, you can
Right,
survive with
right,
just water,
right.
and what little you might have in the area
Yeah.
of food, you're gonna make
Well,
it.
you
You're
might
gonna
want
be
to buy
fine.
like a water filter that they do, like backpackers and hikers do, because the rivers are polluted. They have these systems.
I got 'em.
Where you filter your own water.
Yeah. And I think that your idea of, look, if you're going to be evacuated, get enough for that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, to
I mean, I
carry.
think that
To
yeah,
carry.
to carry. I think
I have
that
a backpack.
that's good enough.
Yeah.
And if you have that, at least and that's just a sense of security, right? That's
Yeah.
just giving you that
a
sense
lot of
of
this
security.
is just your mind.
That's right.
You know, it's
That's
really,
right.
People have been through
But
so much. And we read about refugees in other
Right.
countries and people that have been war-torn conflicts that they've had to suffer through. We can get through this.
Well,
of course we
and
can do it. We
That's
just
the attitude. People get sympathetic to it and get weak and like buy into it and get it.
Right.
I believe the power of the mind, that confidence is the same as the flu, right?
Right.
Stay away from me, right? I mean,
yeah, please don't
right?
do
I
it.
mean,
and do
but
what you can to build up your immune system.
you just stay
best
healthy,
you can.
right? Eat
Yeah,
healthy,
yeah.
do the best you can,
Yeah.
and live
Yeah,
life.
and it's like my husband has an immune system that's
Yeah.
compromised.
Yeah.
We're looking out very carefully because we don't want somebody walking in the door that's
Right.
going to compromise.
That's it. That's the other loving thing.
My
is if
daughter
you feel
didn't-
something coming on, don't go around.
My
people.
daughter didn't bring her daughter to an event that we had because of that.
Right.
That was good.
Right.
That was okay.
That's
we got
good.
on Facebook. Hey, right?
Yeah.
It worked.
It's so
it was
simple.
fine. Yeah,
Simple,
it is.
easy.
So don't get crazy and
No
don't
anxiety.
get scared.
That's right.
No fear, and if you have fear, go to What's the Story. I got some articles there that might help
We're
you
here to help.
allay some fears.
Killer reason for
Yeah.
group baths.
Oh my. Okay.
Okay, Ed, on that note, we're going to be right back after our long break. Do not go away. We will return.
Rich is just a really, really, really good guy. The term good egg isn't enough to describe him. He's also certified organic and free range. Rich puts the cap back on everything. The toothpaste, the olive oil, the shampoo, everything. He lets his 10-year-old nephew beat him at virtual tennis, even though he can straight up slay his 10-year-old nephew in virtual tennis. When the toilet paper is running low, Rich replaces the roll on the actual holder, not just on the back of the toilet. Rich is texting and driving. Rich, no. What are you doing, Rich? I was just telling everyone how great you are. Texting and driving makes good people look bad. Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your basement. There's a pair of overalls that overall you're not so into anymore. A perfectly good laptop that hasn't sat in your lap in months. And even more stuff, but still no jobs? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed, and they're the stuff inside your stuff. Even inside that winter coat that moved with you to Phoenix. Our job is to unlock those jobs, and it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover keytar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
This is America Matters Media Radio, heard worldwide on the web at americamatters.us and on KCKQ 1180 AM, Reno.
USA Radio News with Tim Berg.
Vice President Mike Pence has an update on the total number of coronavirus cases in the United States.
At the present moment, we have 43 domestic cases of the coronavirus. 48 cases of individuals who have returned to the United States. Of the domestic cases, 29 of the 43 are either in California or Washington State.
Federal agencies are preparing for Super Tuesday. Several departments released joint statements ahead of the busiest day of the presidential primary season. The feds say foreign actors continue to try to influence public sentiment and shape voter perceptions. Voters in 14 states will take part in Super Tuesday. And a final look at your numbers on Wall Street. It was a record day as the Dow gained 1,293 points to finish at 26,703. You're listening to USA Radio News.
Hello, this is Wayne Allen Root, relentless conservative warrior, middle-class warrior, and always Trump warrior. I have a message for my fellow patriots across America. President Trump is making America great again. He's the only president in my lifetime who is keeping his promises, and his biggest promise is to build that wall. President Trump can only do it with our help. If Congress won't fund Trump's wall, we will. President Trump is one man against the world, and what globalists and socialists around the world want is clear, open borders. It's time to take a stand. We either build a wall, or it's the end of the greatest nation in world history ever blessed by God. That's why I founded the Root for the Wall PAC. 63 million Trump voters together will raise the money President Trump needs for the wall. Anyone who donates $100 or more will get a beautiful commemorative wall brick. Display it proudly. Call 844-ROOT-WALL. That's toll free, 844-ROOT-WALL. Or go to rootwall.com. We will build this wall together. Call 844-ROOT-WALL or go to rootwall.com. Root for the Wall PAC. Paid for and responsible for the content of this message. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. rootwall.com.
The Supreme Court will not consider a challenge to the ban on bump stocks. USA Radio Network's Chris Barnes has more.
The Trump administration imposed the ban on bump stocks after the deadly mass shooting in Las Vegas in 2017. A bump stock is a rapid-fire device that gives rifles the capability to mimic automatic weapons, and the Vegas shooting massacre left 59 people dead and hundreds of others wounded in the deadliest mass shooting in U.S. history.
U.S. Surgeon General Jerome Adams is touring a public health laboratory in Connecticut as people continue to brace for a possible coronavirus outbreak. Adams tells reporters there's no need to panic.
We want folks to know that your risk as an individual remains low, but that doesn't mean that we as your health officials and state officials aren't doing everything possible to prepare for what we know will be increased cases of coronavirus.
And you're listening to USA Radio News.
Now you can fly anywhere in the world and pay discount prices on your airline tickets. Book a flight today to London, Paris, Madrid, or anywhere else you want to go. And pay a lot less guaranteed. Call the International Travel Department right now at Low Cost Airlines.
800-215-5141. 800-215-5141. That's 800-215-5141.
Acting Department of Homeland Security Secretary Ken Cuccinelli is calling for a boycott of Greyhound after the bus company announced they would stop cooperating with federal immigration enforcement. Cuccinelli tells Fox News they're going to continue doing enforcement at transportation hubs, and it's been going on for years.
So it's very similar to when we saw this from Greyhound. Is the Congress has given Customs Border Protection 100 miles from the border to essentially do border enforcement. If you think about that, it makes perfect sense. You can't literally expect to line a 2,000-mile border, and heck, the southern border is shorter than the northern border, with people to deal with people exactly on the border. So we have internal checkpoints near the border, and the real issue here is doing enforcement at transportation hubs. And I got news for you and this bus company. We're going to keep doing enforcement at those transportation hubs within the boundaries of the law, as we have for decades. Decades, literally. President's been very clear to keep pressing ahead.
Cuccinelli also says that a federal judge's ruling that he was unlawfully appointed to act as head of U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services has nothing to do with his current position as acting Deputy Secretary of Homeland Security, and the decision from the judge will be appealed. Check us out online at usaradio.com or on Facebook at USA Radio. For USA Radio News, I'm Tim Berg.
The following is an America Matters media production. The views expressed do not necessarily represent those of the station or its advertisers, although we think they should. But that's the opinion of America Matters Media.
Stories we've told, oh, it's their own stories we've told, setting at a time. Stories we've told, oh, it's their own stories we've told, till the end of time.
Welcome back. You're listening to What's the Story? This is our second hour, and our first hour went so fast. It was
Incredible.
just incredibly fast.
And you're having fun.
Yeah, if you were not listening, we talked a little bit about fear and the value of knowledge and not overdoing what we're going through right now as a country and actually as a world. Not letting this whole virus stuff get to you and kind of managing it as opposed to letting it manage you. So that's it in a nutshell. Listen to the first half. I'm sure people don't want to hear it all over again. They're tired of coronavirus anyway.
You just summed up the last hour in 10 seconds.
There you go.
Here's what was important.
There was lots of interesting stuff in it, though, so listen. It's worth it. But this is our second hour, and in our second hour, we have in the first segment, we're going to have Ed Knoll share some words of wisdom.
So I've been thinking about, to me, sports parallels like life, right? And you can see it. And Tom Brady, right? Everyone knows Tom Brady. He's a quarterback of the New England Patriots, won more Super Bowls than any other quarterback. He's been in the league, I think, 16, 17 years, right? So one of the cool things about Tom Brady is he sacrificed his pay to make his team better, right? So he made less than other quarterbacks, even though he was rated higher, right? He took less money, and they supported him, and they won those championships, right? So he's got 1 or 2 years left. He's on the news every night. He's going to movies. He's going to games. He's coming out. He's being big because now he wants the money.
Opportunity.
Opportunity. He's stepping out big. He's looking for balance. He's going off, right? He probably doesn't deserve the money now based on his play, but he's going to get it, I hope. Because he sacrificed, he helped his team win. Now he's coming out, right? I mean, he doesn't need the money. This is about him personally getting the love. Basketball and baseball often get the love because they're individual sports and they make big money. Football, there's more players and there's less opportunity to be free and easy. And he's got that time and he's going big with it now. And it's going to benefit him, whatever his future holds, whether it's a TV announcer, whether he plays for 2 or 3 more years, whatever he goes, it's going to benefit him. And we can do the same, right? As we get bigger in our businesses and they succeed, and we've sacrificed so much time, effort, money, family. You got to cash the check.
Yeah, at some
right?
point.
You got to cash the check. You can't sacrifice forever, but that's our end goal, right? That's our transition goal.
Right.
And if we don't have that, it's not like a 40-yard dash where you break the line and then you fall on the ground exhausted, done, right? We got to hit that and keep stepping. Marathon next. Right? But Tom Brady's been a really good public example of sacrifice, now getting big, right? Whatever you think of him, I really value his path.
You know who's another good example of that is Tony Romo, because he just signed a broadcasting contract, I think $17 million a year, and he doesn't get thumped around.
I was going to say he never made that much money in football.
and he doesn't get wonked.
But he might be doing the thing he does best. Have you heard his
he's
guess?
excellent.
He's predicting plays. He's that next level. He's predicting, not telling you what happened.
Yeah, he'll tell you what's going to happen.
Same thing. We need to do that in business. Predict what's next. Anyway, it's awesome stuff.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, we're done now. Time to go home.
Time to go home. Yeah. You did it with a couple minutes to spare.
You
That's
did
great.
today.
Oh
How
my
about
gosh, I
that?
better start chewing on some gum then.
Wow.
But I will stay in sports and go, right, things that happen in sports like, right, we get up for a big game, we're all in, we have a great performance, right? Then the next week we got a patsy, right, or an easy task. We don't do our homework, we don't get emotionally engaged, we show up and get our butts handed to us because we weren't engaged, right? It's just a roller coaster that we do individually.
And I think the interesting thing about that is that you know you're doing that too. When you do it, you know you're doing it, but you think that sometimes I can just phone it in, right?
Yep.
I mean, I think that every business person has had those days, times, whatever, where you think, oh, I'm just not up for this. And rather than taking a better proactive approach, you just think you can kind of walk it through and get by.
So to be after you have that rock star hit, you got to go, you're an idiot. You just got lucky on that one. You got to bring it again next time because all of a sudden we all think we're great, right? Oh, I'm the best, right? And then you show up and get gobbled alive.
You know, when I was in high school playing sports, this one coach, every meeting you'd have, you'd put it up on the board. A plus E equals V. Attitude plus enthusiasm equals victory. And it was so simple, but it's so true. It's not only true in sports, it's true in life. You know, if you have the right attitude and you have that enthusiasm, the will to do better, you're going to win. You will actually, you know, you're going to have that victory.
Well, you'll have opportunities.
Yeah, absolutely. You create them for yourself.
Well, you have opportunities, then you got to walk through the door.
Isn't it amazing when you do something, you know, when you actually succeed in a business plan, they go, oh, boy, you were lucky. Yeah.
You're a unicorn.
Yeah.
You're a unicorn to be valued.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's an interesting concept. So we are, we're not going to have, I didn't tell you guys, we're not going to have Bobby Joe today.
What?
Oh, no.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh,
you know
we're
what?
all so sad. No harmonica today.
So, you know,
Let's have Ed do his imitation of harmonica.
I drink coffee all day. That Bobby Joe intro, like, it stimulates me for, like, the rest of the evening. It never fails. The hair on the back of my neck stands up on that. That is just rock star stuff.
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, we are not going to have that today. However, we'll do something fun after the break. So stay with us, and we will be right back. You're listening to What's the Story?
It's your worldwide invite to Charbecue, the Butcher's Kitchen. Perfection in tri-tip, rib tips, and brisket. Rotisserie chicken with the white sauce. All hardwood smoked. Old world sausage aged to perfection. Wood smoke fire. Charbecue, the Butcher's Kitchen. 7689 South Virginia. Call in and pick up dinner. Charbecue, the Butcher's Kitchen. Get in and get real.
As an 18-year-old, I let my mistakes kind of take over my life. I was 0.5 credits away from completing high school, and I didn't do it.
10 years later, at age 28, Jackie finished her high school diploma.
When I found out that I was pregnant, I know that I had to do something for myself if I wanted to make her a better person and provide a better life for her. My family never stopped pushing for me to be better because they knew what I could become and who I could become as a person. My support team is amazing. The educational director, my sister, and even my 7-year-old daughter has just been more than the support that I could ask for. I've been given an opportunity, and I'm just thankful for it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
As humans, we ask ourselves all kinds of questions. But what if we were forced to ask ourselves a question
every day that affected the outcome of the most basic things, the most important things in our lives. The question is, what is your sexual orientation or gender identity? And the answer is the difference between keeping your job or getting fired. The answer is the difference between staying in your home or getting evicted. The answer is the difference between receiving medical treatment or not. Because in 31 states, it's legal to discriminate against people based on their answer to this question. LGBT Americans have the right to say I do, but they don't have the same basic rights as everyone else. Get the facts at beyondido.org. Brought to you by the Gill Foundation and the Ad Council. Imagine being fired because of who you love. Imagine being denied medical treatment because of who you marry. Imagine being evicted because of who you are. Millions of Americans don't have to imagine this. They have to live it. Because in 31 states, it's legal to discriminate against LGBT people. Get the facts at beyondido.org. Brought to you by the Gill Foundation and the Ad Council.
This overload. Shannon Lawson here. Join us for the Nevada Radio Roundup, Fridays at 2 p.m. A good news variety show all about the local scene. The Nevada Roundup, Friday at 2.
To join the conversation, call 844-790-TALK. That's 844-790-8255. Now back to the show.
Welcome back. This is What's the Story? I'm Janice Hermson. I am here with Ed Knoll and Omega Mortgage. If you look behind me at my eye chart.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I was going to say, please look behind her. If you read down, it's publish, books, printing, LeRue Press.
And underneath, Edward Knoll.
Partnering for success. We're a win-win.
There you go. There you go. Where's your book? You don't have your book back here. You should have your book back there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Forgot about that, didn't you?
I did. That kind of choked me up. I had to hit the cough button there.
So, well, that's a choice for you, right? Are you branding your book or your, the other 2 or 3 you're going to come out with, right? I mean, so if you brand yourself, right?
It really, I've been working on another chapter to put in the book because I don't want to do this, the same old one when we re-enter it. And it's taken me about 2 weeks, not constant writing, but you go back and you have to think about it and then you have to do a little bit of investigating. It takes a lot out of you to do a book, and this is a rewrite. This isn't
even a new one.
I think you make it a trilogy, right? Yeah. You start off with
This is easy for Ed to say, right?
So you
just
start
go ahead,
off
do that.
You start off with Doug Ashby, the beginning, right? and then you got fire service.
Yeah.
And then you got
after
family,
the fire service.
The family.
Yeah, that's right. Boy, I'll tell you. Oh, no, never mind.
Right.
All right, he's not going to tell you.
You can pay me royalties.
Okay, that's right. Yeah, we can share.
Well, if anybody is a regular listener, you'll know that normally at this time we have Bobby Joe Holman doing his Blues and Kids.
Come on, do the harmonica.
Yeah, where's your harmonica? Come on,
I can't
do us. So since he couldn't be here today, he's going to be off for a couple of weeks. He's out there building that car, and he's having a good time.
Awesome.
With it. So he's taking a little bit of a sabbatical, which is good for him. And everybody should do that every now and then. But not
passions,
you guys.
right? Following his passions.
Yes, I agree.
Opportunity.
I pulled up a fun thing because we like fun things, right?
Yeah, we can twist the most nice thing into something less nice.
It's true. It's true. So I have a word for you guys that I want you to use in a sentence, and the word is groak. G-R-O-A-K. You said you like to use archaic words. So
okay, the dude in the alley groped some gal.
Yeah,
there's my sentence.
No, that was. I just saw that toad out in the garden and he groped.
I like yours. Yours, I'm not so sure.
What's the real meaning?
To silently watch someone while they are eating, hoping to be invited to join them.
Mine was perfect, right? That's what the vagrants and homeless people do in the alleys.
That's
Two
right.
gals. I was perfect, right on.
Oh,
You
that
know
was
what?
a stretch.
No, really.
I was lucky. I didn't know what it
especially coming
meant.
from Ed, being a management expert, if you do that with a sense of authority, you'll get it by them.
Okay, so here's their sentence, as in, it's hard to enjoy your meal when the guy opposite is groking you the whole time.
Never
theirs,
heard that. But I, you know what? I'm going to write that down and use it in a sentence this
There
week.
you go.
that's
All right. Well, here's another one for you. Ready? Hugger mugger. A hugger mugger.
So that would be an affectionate soccer mom.
Oh, okay. There you go. That's a 21st century version of hugger mugger.
Yeah.
What do you think hugger mugger is? Can you believe these are words that were in the English language
I'm
that
not
were
even
used?
going to take a shot at that.
No, this is the.
This was in the 1500s that they used hugger mugger. 1530s.
I thought it was the enemy of the Hamburglar.
That's pretty good. It's to act in a secretive manner. I'm sick of all these sneaky types creeping around and hugger muggering the whole time.
Wow.
Who knew?
Wow,
Who
not
knew?
me.
They're not even
me.
related.
No.
You know, that you were talking about the 1500s, especially in England. You know, if you call somebody a Nimrod, you're saying that he's kind of a jerk.
Yeah.
That wasn't 1500. That was a good English name.
Huh?
First name,
Nimrod, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, hi, Nimrod. See, it's time sensitive. We were talking about that.
That's true.
Isn't that, though, when I think of that, I think of water. For some reason. Nimrod, water, like ships.
Yeah.
Like somebody was a poor sailor.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyway.
I'm not a Nimrod.
Yeah.
So, okay, so here's one I've used before. Maybe you guys will remember it, but we'll see. Crapulous.
Yes.
Oh, silence.
No, I remember. I'm trying to go back in time. I like the word.
Right. I'm sure I used it on one of our shows.
Yes, you for sure used it on
Yeah.
me.
Was that followed by a lot of silence?
It is this time.
No, it's kind of like it's like little crap, right? It's the same.
No.
Crapulous.
This is also a 1530s. I'm going to give you the sentence first, and then I'll tell you what it means. Blurg. The morning after St. Patrick's Day, I feel crapulous.
Crapulous.
And it's to feel ill because of excessive eating or drinking. Kind of what it sounds like, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's one that's more appropriate.
Yeah, there's a name for a word that sounds like what it means.
Oh, I don't know. I do know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
but
so I
don't
can't
know.
wait to use it after St. Patty's Day because most people go, "Oh, I got a hanger." I like, "You got crapulous?"
You say,
You
no,
feel
you say, "Oh,
crapulous?
yeah, oh no, not me. I'm crapulous."
But I'm good.
But yeah, don't worry about me.
All right.
Don't fear.
Well, here's one from the 1500s, 1590s, almost the 1600s. So we're getting up there, right? And you might even be able to figure this one out. Snow broth.
That's what you feed a
Snow
snowman.
No, snow broth would be broth or water dripped off the roof from melting snow.
He's pretty close. Used in a sentence, yesterday we woke up to a perfect carpet of white, but now it's just snow broth.
Oh,
Right?
we call that gray ugliness.
Yeah, freshly melted snow.
Yeah.
So you were
That's right.
correct, really. Yeah, I mean, it was a
Woohoo! Yeah. Where's the woohoo? Because that was a total guess.
well, but it was kind of, that one sort of makes sense,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Well, here's an interesting one. E-flock. And now, remember, this was the 1590s, so it's before e-books and anything else. But they even had an e-flock.
E-flock, that must have been
They
like...
even have, lapse of memory.
No, it was Aflac, was a gaggle of geese before it was just one,
Yeah.
right? It was A-flock.
An
A-flock.
E-flock?
E-flock.
E-flock.
It was E-flock
Yeah.
before it was Aflac.
Yeah.
Right? So that's what it was, a whole
And when you said
gaggle of-
Aflac, I thought you were talking about the company Aflac.
Yeah.
They do disability.
Right.
Sorry, they're not a sponsor.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, so E-Flock. Geez, dude, look at the state of those E-Flocks. Have you not heard of a comb? Tangled hair, as
E-Flock.
if matted by elves. Even the description is
matted by elves.
By elves. Not sure what they were.
That would
elves.
be what happens when Santa takes his hat off.
I suppose. I don't know.
So you could use that on your grandkids as practice, right? Your hair is kind of E-flocked.
Yeah, you're looking E-flocky.
Yeah.
Well, and they'd think it was current because, you know, E-Flock, right?
Yeah.
So they'd be like, oh, I better go look that up.
Must be
That
online.
Must
It must
be
be
a new
online.
word.
Yeah.
It's online.
How does Grandpa know a new word?
That would be
That
like
would be crazy.
E-flock would be like electronically flocking the tree, right? Like
Except
with the
it's your
white
hair.
stuff.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Okay, this, maybe you'll get it, maybe you won't. I don't think it's the best one I've ever chosen, but Brabble. B-R-A-B-B-L-E. Brabble.
Is it like rabble?
No, I would think
It's like Brabble.
Yeah, Brabble is the rock that Fred Flintstone is too small for his dinosaur to lift up. So
You
it's
should
just
be
the
a
little
writer.
Yeah.
You should be a writer.
Yeah.
You come up with crazy stuff.
Yeah,
but I'm close, aren't I? Or not?
No, it says, I can't stand question time. It always descends into brabbling. The origin is 1530s to argue loudly about something inconsequential.
So I should know that word, right? So I should know that word really.
That's right, yeah,
that might be on my headstone.
That's right. Have that as your moniker. Yeah, he was
Loved,
brabbling.
but brabbled.
Yeah. You know, actually, we do use that. That's not
Brabble?
Yeah,
I've
think
never
so.
heard the word.
The only time I say it's when I mispronounce babble.
I have one more for you. How about monsterful? It's not going to be like what you would think. And this is from the 1800s. I got us at least into 1810.
Monsterful.
Monsterful, like a monster full.
So gregarious.
Interesting. You got any guesses?
No.
As in, the Breaking Bad finale was every bit as monsterful as I'd hoped. Wonderful and extraordinary.
Huh.
Who knew?
So there's that paranormal being good.
You're talking to your eye again.
Yeah.
Sorry. Sorry, my eye was talking.
Know, we needn't wonder why these have fallen from grace, right?
I don't think I want to bring any of them back. None of them.
I think it's so
but
cool.
But it was a great segment filler.
I love those old words. I think we should bring them back and use them.
I think we should try. Like, have one segment where that's what we do is talk in Old English.
Just occasional
We'd
words.
lose all our audience, but we'd have a lot of fun.
Well, that's if you've ever been to England, they do speak a different language there.
Oh, there he goes. Insulting
they do.
people.
Well, have you ever talked to an Englishman? They're hard to understand.
All right, we are going to come back, and we are going to have Brian T. Shirley in the BTS Entertainment Corner. So we're happy about that. We will be right back. You're listening to What's the Story? Please stay with us.
Hi, this is Eddie Floyd. Let me tell you about my favorite non-profit public charity, Wainema Wild Horse Sanctuary, located on the Forsyth Ranch in Hallelujah Junction area. And please go to www.wainemaranch.com. That's WYNEMA ranch.com.
Hey, Dr. Phil here. I help people solve difficult and trying personal problems every day on my TV show, but there's one problem that's just got me stumped: childhood hunger. Nearly 16 million children in America struggle with it. That's 1 in 5 kids who may not know where their next meal is coming from, despite the fact that there's more than enough healthy, nutritious food out there to feed them all. Now, I don't know about you, but that is unacceptable to me. Luckily, the Feeding America network of good people is out there collecting surplus food and giving hope to hungry children and their families at local food banks all across the country. But let's face it, they can't do it without your help. Join me in supporting Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're feeding America.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying, totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad, just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Hey, this is Reba McEntire, and I wanted to talk to you about a serious problem right here in our own backyard. Did you know that there are nearly 16 million kids struggling with hunger in America? That's why the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks collects surplus food, engaging their communities in solving hunger and giving hope to hungry kids and their families. But they need your help. Support Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org.
A message from Feeding America and the Ad Council.
This is America Matters Media on AM 1180 KCKQ, a Lotus broadcast station. The power of radio since 1967.
The story of my life, I give her love, I spend her love until she's broken inside. The story of my life. The story.
Are you shy and don't want to talk on the air? Text us your questions or comments to 775-237-2266. Now back to the show.
It's the Hollywood Rockin' Wrap-Up with your host, Jason Hadley. Tori Spelling took to social media sharing news that her children are being bullied at school over the family's financial problems because she claims the bully's parents donate more money to the school. Tori, of course, would love to teach her children how to stand up for themselves, but busy making 5 children, standing clearly isn't something Tori knows much about. Comedian Pete Davidson is using his latest Netflix stand-up special to tell his side of the story about his short-lived engagement to pop singer Ariana Grande, which the Hollywood Rockin' Wrap-Up is predicting will sound something like this.
Oh my God!
Kim Kardashian revealed that her recent photo shoot with legendary singer Cher was a total dream come true. Taking the actual photos themselves went surprisingly quick, as both of them paid good money to no longer have the ability to blink. And that's the Hollywood Rockin' Wrap-Up. Follow us on Twitter at Rockin' Wrap-Up.
That was good.
Welcome back. Well, on that note, it's time for the BTS Entertainment Corner and Brian T. Shirley. Hi, Brian.
Hey, how are you hugger buggers doing out there?
Trying to look up what hugger bugger was again.
Right. It's the opposite of a huggy bear.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I have no clue.
To act in a secretive manner. I don't think we're very secretive.
No, I would say not. Well,
but I like
we've got a nice BTS Entertainment Corner for you tonight. I was fortunate to be able to screen a couple of films that just came out at the end of February, and they're out right now. You can find out all the information about them on the What's the Story Facebook page or BTS Entertainment Corner Facebook page. I got to say thank you to Kayla here from Exile PR for sending me the screener for Blood on Her Name, and Greg Commons from Entertainment Squad for sending me the screener on Green Light. So let's get down to it. Green Light, I'm going to go with first because it really follows what we've been talking about on this show for the last month or so as I've been making these films and TV shows and all that. It's about a young director who gets his dream job. This is a guy, now get this, he wants to direct his first feature, and he's been doing a lot of short films to lead up to that. And he's constantly being told, you can't do a feature till you do a feature. So
makes a lot of sense, right?
That's like going to
literally.
Is this Joe Biden?
Yeah, going to a banker and trying to get
Well,
a
I mean,
loan. The only time they'll give you a loan is when you
that's
don't need
just
one.
the way right. That's just the way it is in entertainment and some other things too. You can't do something until you do it. You know, hey,
Until you've already done
don't have
it.
the experience, but how do you get the experience? You know. So he's up against that, and he lands his dream job. He gets to make the feature, but there's a slight twist. The guy that's producing it wants him to film a real life murder.
Oh.
There's a big thing. So the green light, you might say, a lot of folks may not know why it's called green light. Well, because a movie gets, when it gets to where the production's up and they can shoot now, it's green lit. So it's green lit, which means go. So that's why it's called green light. And it's very intense. It's not too gory if you're worried about gore or any of that stuff. It's not really gory. It's more story driven. And it really keeps you guessing the whole time. So this is one I think even Janice would like.
I bet the main character obviously runs into crapulous eventually.
He wants so bad to
Very
use these
crapulous
words.
throughout. Yeah, he has a lot of crapulous stuff going on. But anyway, if you like kind of being on the inside of what it's like to make a film, it kind of shows you that because it's about a guy making a movie. So I really like this film, and I really highly recommend it. And it's out select theaters and on video on demand right now. It just came out, I believe, on the 24th.
So let me show my lack of understanding of terminology and ask you, video on demand, meaning do I go to Amazon? Do I go to my TV provider? Where am I going? There's too many choices now.
Yeah, I don't have all of them right in front of me, but it's, Amazon. Video on demand is like your Amazon.
Okay, so I can go to Prime and I can
Netflix, Hulu, you mean the big carrier type people?
And now they're putting movies on Vimeo because you can go to Vimeo and pay like $1.99 or whatever they want to charge and see them on Vimeo.
Huh.
I've actually watched them on there too. But let's go to our next one. I don't want to run out of time on this.
Sorry to interrupt.
And then I got no, that's fine. Any questions, just ask me. So this one is called Blood on Her Name. And this is about a woman's panicked decision to cover up an accidental killing, and it spirals out of control when her conscience demands she return the dead man's body to his family. Now, it sounds really simple. And when you start watching this film, you think, well, how are they going to, make this into something more than what it is, just, an accidental killing? Let me tell you, as this story unwinds, you get twist and surprise. I mean, all throughout this film. Blood on Her Name. And one of my favorite actors, Will Patton, is in it. And he's been in Armageddon, Remember the Titans. He's a really good actor. And this is an independent film. So when I first saw him in the trailer, I was like excited to see this movie. I was like, wow. And I got to tell you, the production values on both these films is really good for something that's in limited theatrical release and going to video on demand. Very well done, both of them. But Blood on Her Name will keep you guessing. And I'm not giving anything away, but I will tell you, at the end, I was blown away by the way this film ended. It just really tweaked your senses because you get so involved with these characters. And this is another one, Janice, that you don't have to worry about the gore factor or monsters or any of that. It's really character driven too. Both these films are very heavily character driven. I would say thriller / drama on both of these, to be honest. I don't think I would quite put them into horror. Maybe the Green Light would be maybe leaning into horror a little bit. Blood on Her Name, it's just a really well done film and just came out, like I said, 24th or 28th. I don't remember, but I've got that one up and all the listing of where you can see that. And the lady Bethany Ann Lind, as a matter of fact, I reached out to her on Twitter real quick, said, hey, great job at the film. And she even hit me back and said, thanks. She's plays the lead, and Will Patton plays her father, who happens to be a sheriff in the town where they live. But you see immediately there's something wrong with their relationship. And that leads into the story, too. And she's got a troubled relationship with her father, with her son. And it's just, you got to watch this thing. Blood on Her Name. Please check that out. What's funny? What's going on?
No, I'm just listening to you, and you're so involved in this. I mean, you're just really wrapped up in it. It's great.
It is.
Oh, it's written and directed by Matthew Pope. So go ahead and check out Blood on Her Name. And that's Blood on Her Name, Green Light. Check those films out.
They both sound like they'll be good, Brian.
Oh, I'm just fortunate to be on this program where I get to get involved with these folks, and they send me these films, and then I share them with y'all. Let me tell you something crazy that happened today, though. This is a warning to people out there. This is true. I got a phone call, and they said on the phone, it was a recording, and it said, you have 30 minutes to pay your electric bill.
Oh, we get those all the time.
Did you?
Yeah.
I've never gotten one.
Oh, yeah.
I called... The idiot that I am, I called the number, and the guy's on there going, okay, our guy's on his way over, and he's going to shut your power off. You need to da-da-da.
So from experience, you could probably not pay your power bill for a year, and they wouldn't even know it. I've been close to that in the past, so, you know, right?
We have clients, and so that makes it really easy for us to know when there are spam calls, because we answer a lot of phones. So we'll get it on one line. And the thing is, it's the correct power company number. They actually put the right ID number in there, so it's very easy to believe that. And when I reported it to the power company, I said, you guys, you know, they're using your number. Yeah, we know.
I was
like,
yeah.
Wow, okay. So you just don't care.
I talked to the guy, and he tried to get me to pay $300. Well, I'm kind of meticulous with my bills. So I had, you know, what was funny about it is I just happened not to have paid February for whatever reason. The bill didn't come, or I didn't see the email. So I was looking at my check register, and I was going, wait a second. I paid in December. I paid in, and I've never missed an electric payment. And this guy's going, you know, if you want your power not cut off, you got to give me $300 and something right now. I was like, no. I went to my bank. I got him on the phone. I went to my bank thing, and it shows where they took money out in January. I'm going, hey, buddy, I just, you know. So he's saying he sent me 3 notices and all this stuff. I said, I never got a notice. But thank God he did not get, you know, any
no money out of
from
you.
me.
No money out of you.
Looks to me like you got a skid out of it.
Well, yeah, I mean.
Yep, you got to make that one one of your comedy classics.
That's
there
right.
You
can make that a 5-minute.
We got 10 seconds, buddy.
Well, check me out on BrianTShirley.com. Maybe you'll see a skit about that at some point. I got a comedy special March 18th, so we'll see. Maybe I can come up with something before then. But
thank you much. Gotta go.
Support.
All right. This is what's the story.
I spend a lot of time in the garage, but even more time in the rain, sleet, and mud. In '95, I helped tow your moving trailer. In '05, I helped you get out of a ditch. Yeah, I know I'm a bit rusty, and sadly in '09, it was sparks from me, your handy chains, dragging behind your truck that accidentally started a wildfire.
Sparks from dragging chains can start a wildfire. Spark a change, not a wildfire. Visit SmokeyBear.com. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
1 in 3 adults in America have pre-diabetes, but most don't know it. To let people know it can be reversed before it becomes type 2 diabetes, professional basketball player Julius Randle is doing everything in reverse.
I'm only dunking with reverse windmills. I drove the whole way to practice in reverse. I don't recommend it. This move's called the reverse shuffle. I do recommend it. And it took me months to learn how to speak in reverse, like this. Years 10 almost for diabetes type 2 with living Ben has mom. In other words, my mom has been living with type 2 diabetes for almost 10 years. So together, we want to say to the 84 million Americans at risk, exercise and healthy eating can help reverse prediabetes. Start by taking a simple 1-minute risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
Bet he can't say that in reverse.
No word in the English language is less convincing than probably.
Are you sure we should get matching tattoos on our first date?
Sure. We'll probably stay together.
Probably? It's been 23 minutes since I ate. I can probably swim.
You should wait 30 minutes.
Okay, now tell me what to do. Cannonball! Cramp! Oh, I have a cramp.
I can probably hit the green from here.
Probably.
Can I get a mulligan?
Ready to go?
Hey, are you sure you're okay to drive?
Yeah, I'm pretty sober. Yeah, I'm probably okay.
Probably okay isn't okay, especially when it comes to drinking and driving. If you're drinking, call a cab, a car, or a friend. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. A message brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Getting to know you. Let me tell you about America Matters with Eddie Floyd. It comes on every Monday at noon. Don't want you to miss it. That's America Matters with Eddie Floyd.
Want to expand your advertising dollar? Sponsor this or any America Matters program by calling 775-827-8900, extension 2. Now back to the show.
Hey, welcome back. It is What's the Story? I'm Janice Hermson here with Doug Ashby, Ed Knoll. April's gone.
Could anything be more fun, man? Talking with you guys in Brian, man, what a laugh. This is so much fun.
Yeah, I love that segment that Brian just did. That was so informative.
He's rocking it, too. He's got a lot going on.
I really enjoyed hearing about those films, and I actually got him a book. I don't know if I told him about it or not. When we were gathering all the books from the bookstore, they had some books on film. And they were older books.
Oh,
and
nice.
so I really think that he might enjoy them. So I'm going to send it off to him.
Awesome.
See what he thinks. He can always send them down to his used bookstore, right? If he doesn't want them.
There you go.
Take him to the library, friends of the library, all those things. So did you have anything you wanted to share today? Sometimes you do, and I don't know it. And, you know, so not today.
No, wait a minute. I can do this better. Ow.
So I like to do the trivia stuff of things that you don't necessarily know or that aren't common knowledge or just fun facts because it's a great way to end the show. So I pulled up this is what we were laughing about, right? This is it's from the brightside.me. And so it's just a little trivia. So I will share a little bit of that with you. Every 10th Central Asia inhabitant is a descendant of Genghis Khan.
Every 10th?
Yep. It's pretty interesting, don't you think?
Well, what's the old adage, though, that you're only 6 people?
Oh, yeah, it's that 6 degrees.
Yeah, of separation?
Yes.
Yeah. So that would make sense.
It would, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but 10 people, that you'd have to be awful old, huh?
Marco, Polo, right? I don't know. Where do we go with that?
Well, here's a good statistic for you. 10% of all photos in the world have been taken in the past 12 months.
Oh, yeah.
10%.
So really, are people deleting the bad ones? They're taking up all that server space?
I don't know.
It's ridiculous.
You know, all you have to do is think about Kodak and how they didn't analyze the market correctly. because you talk to kids today about Kodak, they didn't realize that they were the
Except, no,
producer.
my granddaughter for Christmas, my granddaughter is 18, and she got a Kodak camera that is the old-fashioned kind. The
They
kids
love
are
'em.
really loving them. Yeah.
Well, where do they get film, and how do they have it processed?
I don't remember. I guess they just, no,
You buy the thick film.
Right.
The film's expensive because it's developed right there, right?
Right. Yeah. It's the instant Kodak camera.
Right, so it's the thick.
Yeah.
It's the thick film packets.
Yeah.
I've seen those things.
Yeah.
We used to do those back in the day.
It was
So
fun.
much. They're still fun, and that is a
Yeah.
party favor.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. How about this? You know,
Well,
we
wait a
have.
minute. I have one thing to say about that. One of the
Yes.
things that in the fire department, this is going back a ways, you never, ever, ever left a camera sitting on the table at the fire station. Because you would be surprised what was on there when you had the film processed.
Oh, I totally doubt that. I totally doubt that. I think it was probably really predictable.
The things you learn about the firefighters that we love.
Yeah. Well, another thing is at Easter time, guys would come in and hard-boiled eggs for their kids and this and that. You never wanted to do that either because there was always one or two in there that had never been hard-boiled.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
I'm not
isn't
even
it?
gonna. So, most people like to watch something at the Olympics, right? I mean, you have a favorite sport that you like to watch at the
I
Olympics.
think so,
Maybe
yeah.
you don't like everything.
Right.
Are there any odd things that you've ever, I don't know, what kinds of things?
Well,
at
so the Winter Olympics are all odd.
They're all odd.
Well, right, except the skate race, except for ski racing and ice racing, the rest of them are odd.
They are. Well, from 1912 to 1948, art was an official discipline of the Olympics.
Art?
Yes, I said art. Yes.
Huh.
You believe that? That's just odd.
So the deal would be, right, how do you judge it?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I just
Or how
think
do you
it's an
enter it?
interesting decision to make. And 1912 to 1948. It's a long time.
But don't they have now, they have the rhythmic gymnastics with hand things and things that are kind of art
I like
forms.
the gymnastics.
But it's
here's
gymnastics. There's a name for it. I don't know what it is, but it's some kind of expressive gymnastics where they play with balls and circle things and different aesthetic things.
Here's a question. Why do they still have synchronized swimming as an event?
I think that one's funny.
Because
Even when I was a kid, I thought that was
if
funny.
they did not have it, it would just go into it would go back in time with E-Flock, right? I mean, seriously, right? What's the competition?
What would these people do at rest homes with the pool then, right?
Wow, he's alienating some folks.
I know. Yeah, that's right. That
kidding,
wasn't
man.
me. That wasn't me. My name's Ed.
I was going to say, Doug, I wouldn't want to be showing my belly around those pools.
So I don't know what year. I've just tried to look and see this. Like I said, this is from brightside.me, but it doesn't give me a date. But it's a good statistic anyway. Even on a general basis, if you earn more than $18,000 a year, you're among the 4% of the richest people on earth.
Wow, that's today?
Yep.
I don't know if it's today, but it's within the last 5 to 10 years.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And $18,000 a year, you're among 4% of the richest people on earth.
Wow.
I did hear a statistic similar to this.
So we don't
within
see
the last 6 months or so.
We're
Yeah.
not grateful enough. We don't
No.
see big picture, nor do we communicate big picture to our kids and things. And I think it's something we could do way better to understand our space. And, we blow it up like, we go travel in foreign countries like it's Disney World.
Yeah.
It's true. We do. So here's one that I've heard before. The chances of dying on your birthday are 14% higher than on any other day. Isn't that interesting? I've heard that before.
Well, that's I can't go there.
Is that modern? Is that modern, or is that? I mean, seems to me like when you take a big breath in to blow out your candles. If the icing was like light and fluffy, you might like it. Asphyxiate yourself or
That's
something.
Too much cake eating, huh?
Right, or you can't blow out all your candles and breathe in one.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, here's an interesting one. I was going to make a really dumb comment. I'm glad I didn't. I'm glad I read this first before I blurted out my dumb comment. The first phrase in Jerome K. Jerome's 3 Men in a Boat is, "There were 4 of us."
Well, went over my head.
That's just an oxymoron.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right?
Moving on.
Some things are just like conflicting by nature.
Yeah.
That's really conflicting. Oh. I believe this. Over 7,000 U.S. citizens die and 1.5 million impair their health due to illegible doctors' writing.
That's how many die by reading it correctly? Right? I mean, that's right. It's a 50-50 proposition there.
Yeah, but that should be a pharmacist warning.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever heard this. I've heard of other things like this. Heroin was initially advertised as a cure for coughs.
Laudanum and stuff like that was that melting pot of stuff that knocked you down.
Yeah, so I'll do one more. 40% of mankind don't live to see their first birthday. That's sad.
Well, people, I mean, that's again big picture stuff we need to be aware of. Make us more grateful.
Yep. All right, so I don't want to do any more.
I have something about having your power turned off, because when we were talking about it, I was thinking about my son. My oldest boy had his power shut off, so he calls the power company. He says, "Hey, I apologize for this." He says, "Can you send somebody out?" So they said, "Oh, sure, we'll be happy to." And they go through this long litany. Do you have a gate? Is it unlocked? And do you have any dogs in the back? And finally, after about 5 or 6 of these questions, he said, "None of this mattered when you shut the power off."
Because they flipped a switch.
They didn't have to go there.
Yeah, they flipped a switch.
Yeah, they didn't have to come visit.
Well, they're going to flip a switch when they get there to turn it back on.
But you're big, right? They're analyzing you. They're looking at the facts, how big your family is, how many animals you've got, right? They got all that stuff on you now.
Yeah.
Now they got it all on you.
That's right.
That's right. Yeah.
That's right. Your power bill doubles.
I feel I'm going to go home and just shut the power off. See what happens.
Don't you feel empowered?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Do you
time
realize
to...
what a blessing electricity is, though? I mean,
yes.
we wouldn't even be here if we didn't have it, right?
Yeah.
Kind of.
Not right now.
No, we'd be here. We'd just be getting up a lot earlier.
Yeah.
Sending out the pigeons.
Wouldn't have to wind my alarm clock.
All right. Well, I want to thank Christian for his patience with us all the time. And
he does a good job.
Yeah, he does. He does an awesome job. And I thank our audience for sticking with us. Tough day today. Long day,
love you, folks. You're crazy, but we love you.
And we'll be back again next week. And we hope you'll be back with us. This is What's the Story. We're here every week on Mondays, 3 to 5. And visit LeRue Press, LRPNV.com, Omega Mortgage.
Thanks for listening. Ed Knoll, 775-721-4100.
You wanted to see me?
Yes, please, have a seat. So here's the thing. When this company brought you on, we took a chance on you. You didn't have that 4-year college degree we typically look for.
Right.
But we gave you a shot anyway. And since then, you've worked incredibly hard and given it your all.
Thanks.
You've been an important asset to the team, but I don't think you can be an intern here anymore.